Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Just Talking podcast. Oh my gosh, podcast mic. I feel like the sound is kind of a little weird just because I don't know what is up with my equipment. I feel like every time I replug my mic in or like I had to get a new Adobe account and it kind of just fucked it up. But here we are with the mic, so it doesn't sound at least like last week's or last episode because I didn't put one out last week because I was traveling. It's been a little crazy, and a lot of drama and tea has happened. And so I honestly thought this would just be a deep hack of just like internet drama, not like my Twitter deep dive last time, which to be honest with you I would love to do again. I'm probably gonna wait a couple of weeks or so. I kind of wish I did it. I waited because literally like that Tati and James drama went down, which I'm totally gonna talk about, and some other big things, but I'm mostly just, oh my gosh, I cannot like freaking speak, sorry. But I just wanted to talk about like just like the basic drama, I guess, over like the YouTubers and stuff that I watch, or not even just YouTubers, just like the information that I've seen that's been popular. That's really funny. A news update by me on dumb petty drama. So, okay, I'm totally just gonna start with the James and Tati drama. I'm gonna comment on it. I would like to just say that my last podcast, I totally fucking called that Jame Charles would be canceled. I've known that he's gonna be canceled for the past like couple months. You can literally just watch his content and see where that like weird, just creepy shift of him, it's like no longer charming anymore. Like his attitude towards his success and fame, it was no longer funny, it was no longer cute, it was no longer like, yeah, he totally deserves this. He's he's a kid who's made it. Everybody wants to live that way. Like everybody wants to be the kid that makes it, and so he's living on everyone's dream, and now he's a fucking dick about it, so there was already that, just the basics of that. But I did not expect like that other that other serious stuff that Tati brought up, that I actually want to address, because I thought it was really interesting how she just straight up called him out on it. And when she did, I completely it was a deja vu moment of a lot of moments where I've witnessed that and I didn't say anything, or I laughed about it. I don't think I've ever tried to take a part in it, except for I think one time where we make jokes specifically, but I'm gonna get into this. But the basics of what I'm trying to get into is that Tati called out James for manipulating this a straight young man into being gay, because the straight dude was confused. He just wasn't sure about his sexuality, and James basically went in, and this has happened on a number of occasions, but from one of the scenarios that she gave him, it looked like they were at a party. They were at her birthday party. He was talking about a straight waiter in some real inappropriate ways, at a dinner party, which when I heard that, I was like, that's disgusting. And that totally makes sense because, never mind, I'm not going to say anything, but he was just being really graphic, and the way that he responded to her when she was like, he's straight, kind of back off, this is gross, we're at dinner, just drop it. He was like, it doesn't matter, I'm a celebrity. And so that was just an example of him being able to use his power, fame, and money to manipulate, these straight young men that, they may be confused. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with trying to explore your sexuality. But, there comes a point when you do understand, when you are, you figure it out. It's a journey. It's not something that you just wake up and you're like, I'm this today, I figured it out. You're always discovering yourself, especially as you evolve. And so from what it sounds like, it was a little bit different than a supportive friend being like, I support you in exploring your sexuality. And so when Tati called him out on this is the most stereotypical behavior in the LGBTQ plus community. And that's coming from someone who has slowly gotten more involved in the community, because it was so long until as I said, it's a freaking journey. I didn't even realize what pansexuals were until I was, way into high school. I did my research. I didn't think I was bisexual. I've talked a little bit about this, and I'm actually saving more of like my coming out story for next month, just because, or just like more of my journey, I guess, for next month, because it's gay pride. But you know, I didn't just wake up one day and be like, I'm a pansexual. You know, it actually started as a joke, just due to the fact that like I spent so many years in just being like, I know I'm not straight, but I'm not gay, and I'm not like a lesbian, and I'm not bisexual. Like, I know it's not one of those two, but I was so unfamiliar with the territory just due to the fact of where I grew up. And so as I was growing up, and you know, raised in a very conservative home, it wasn't just thrown at me. It wasn't just an open thing to go discover. So of course I wasn't in the community. And so as I've gotten older and I've gotten closer into the community and met new people and met more people and even watched like my friends go into their journey, it is such an aggressive culture that happens. And it's because and I think it's just because we've all just been repressed for so long. It's kind of like on how if somebody did something completely justifiable to an action that I did wrong. So like, let's say I stole from someone and they called the police on me and I went back on them and I was like, oh, you did that because I'm Mexican. But then they're like, no, bitch, I caught you straight up in front of my face, take that. You know, it's kind of like that. It's like, okay, you're saying no to me because you hate gay people. It's such a very serious culture that like I literally did not realize until it was like pushed in front of my face, because you know, like, you're not going, like, no sane straight person is going to straight up just like be point blank rude. You know, like, if they have any respect, it's going to be a really difficult situation, especially if it's with someone that they admire, adore, a friend, someone they trust, someone they want to know, someone that they don't want. Like, you know, people know the struggle that these people have gone through. So it's a really hard situation when one of them's hitting on you hardcore and you just have to, you know, be like, okay, I'm straight. And then they don't take that answer because, you know, a lot of them won't. That's super weird. And I feel like one of the biggest jokes in my friend group is that I helped turn my straight friend gay. And we joke about that a lot. And I feel like now we're totally gonna have to stop that joke. It was very consenting. Like, it was a consenting relationship. You know, we figured it out. It was a part of the journey, definitely. But, you know, it was a very big joke for the longest time because it's just a joke that, you know, oh, because you guys kissed that first time, because you were just like, you know, why not? And there was like that little, it was like that very, you know, those memes where they're like, I suppressed any point of peer pressure. It's like, it was like one of those situations where I was like, you know, where we both just came to a decision of like, okay, yeah, why not? And it turned into something. And it's such a joke. And it's like a known joke too. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who know my friend group know it as well. It's not something that's like well hidden. And so I think we probably have to stop making that joke, guys, because Jesus Christ, like, it's like really not okay. And it's kind of weird that it's taking me so long, and I kind of regret it because I look back at so many situations of my life where I've witnessed it from afar and I haven't thought much of any of it. It's not like I'm like, oh, like that straight person really fucked over that gay person or anything like that. I just like walk away with no opinion, or I'm kind of just like, oh, that was weird. That was a weird exchange. That was kind of aggressive, but like, you know, that's just the way, and it shouldn't be. Like, that's really messed up. And there's some other things in the community that I will definitely want to talk about later that I took a second to realize, but like that was one of the first ones that I kind of was just like, holy shit, that's like that's a literal running joke in my friend group that's not meant to like cause any harm or like put anybody to shame in my friend group, because none of us are like ashamed of it. Like, my friend like, you know, like none of us are ashamed of it. We all live it. So it's not like I guess it's just something to break the tension. That's so weird, and I don't know why I'm backtracking. But okay, so that's how I wanted to start off this podcast. I was talking about Jame Charles and Tati because it's just big news. to be honest with you, this podcast is going to be probably really short because I am also working on 2 other vlogs. I'm working on a vlog. I went to go see the 1975 with Penelope, and we went to Logan again. It was really, really fun. The audio on that is just so fucked up. And I just recently got back from a trip from Vegas with my best friend Hannah. She's like the best. We went to Vegas, saw Ariana Grande. It was really fun. I have some cute videos from that. So I'm trying to put those 2 together. I just need to get time. That was just randomly thrown in there because it's what popped in my head. But I guess something that I saw that is okay. I'm not going to go into great detail about this because I myself need to do more research, because the research that I've done on it is just, it's outdated. Like, science is always moving, but I just keep seeing a bunch of abortion abortion arguments online because of the bill that was passed. And I haven't read into the bill, and I'm a pro-choice person. I do believe that you have every right to choose what happens to your body, and I do think it's really, really strange that there are, like, men making these rules and regulations over women's bodies. Like, I definitely get that they're educated. Well, I don't know how educated, but, you know, like, the argument that I would get back to that is, well, okay, these men are educated, they come from, you know, they look at all the facts, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, okay, but why can't we put a woman of power, like, why can't we put a woman in that position, or just a woman to be put over that? Put women doctors, and put women just in charge of, hey, you know, maybe, you know, just what happens to women's bodies. I just think that would be a really useful and helpful thing. I just think, like, yeah, your argument can be like, the men can do this, blah, 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 but it's like, okay, well, what if chicks were just like, okay, it's regulation that y'all need to get, like, vasectomies at the age of 30 because it's healthier for you and it's required now, like, or, like, you know, you can't ever get one and it doesn't matter who you are. Like, that's not a good argument, but it's like, it's kind of like that, where there are some regulations that are put in place around birth control and specific things that women have to go through, where it's like tedious stuff, and you're like, why is this so hard, you know? And I honestly think it's just because guys, you know, don't understand it, and that's not their fault. It's not their problem. And so since it's not their fucking problem, they should probably just let women make regulations for it. So that's one opinion that I've had over just coming into it as an outsider looking in and already having, you know, my pre-established views from what I established when I researched the topic, like, a couple of years ago. Honestly, like, abortion, it's, like, crazy to me that it's become such a serious topic again, because I feel like it was pretty serious, like, 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember why. But, like, that's when I decided my views and I did my research and stuff. But I feel like, honestly, just this past month, it's just recently that all of these, like, arguments about abortion have come up just because all these bills are being passed. And so I think that just on the basis of women, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, it doesn't matter. I think we should all just agree that women in general should just make their own, like, should be, like, they should put smart women in power that have the education and the degrees and all the information to go make those decisions for us. I'm totally fine with that. I just have issues that I'm always just being told by a dude, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy, because I don't want children. I don't know if I want children. I'm still pretty young, and I know that I want to adopt kids, and a big reason of that is because I'm adopted. I saw something super interesting that that specifically made me want to bring up this discussion, was that, you know, if you're gonna make abortions illegal, fix the foster care system, because there are a lot of women that throw out the argument of, you know, like, I can't have a kid because I'm gonna die, but then there's the argument of, like, I can't have a child because I'm, like, 16 in school and can't afford to give this kid the life it needs, and I don't want to have the child be susceptible to the system. Like, I am so lucky that I was adopted. I know that my situation would not have been as good as, like, I would not be where I am today if I was not adopted. And I know that for a fact. I know I gave my parents like a literal just like shit show to deal with, but I know that if it wasn't for like that just initial step of being taken out of that situation, it just put me on like a way better path than I would have been. And so like I know that I could never truly forever like hate them. Obviously I would never hate them, but like, you know, I just run into those kids that are like, I run into a lot of adopted kids. A lot of my friends actually are adopted, but not them. A lot of them love their parents. But, you know, I run into like a lot of random adopted kids, and a lot of them just fucking hate their parents. And it just amazes me because I'm like, how can you hate your parents? Like, a lot of them were taken from from worse situations. A lot of them do that thing where they're like, well, they're not my real parents. And I'm like, yeah, that's the fucking point. Like, duh, they took you. Like, they spent all this money to, you know, love you. Obviously, this is not the case for everyone. There have been, like, awful stories of, like, especially lately, that break my heart, of these awful foster parents torturing these kids and stuff. But I definitely, like, that's what needs to be fixed, obviously, before we can officially. I honestly do, like, I completely agreed with what I saw about being like, why don't we fix the foster care system and the adoption system and make it, you know, so these kids don't have to, you know, if we're not going to be putting on abortions, these kids are probably going to end up in adoption or foster care. So why don't we fix that first and then go forward with, you know, what steps need to happen for science, I guess. I have a hard time with abortion just because, you know, science is forever changing, and women's science is forever changing because women are complicated as fuck, and I didn't realize it. Like, literally, I'm the type of person that doesn't go to the doctors ever, and when I did go to the doctors, I was dying. And I honestly, as an adult, I should go to the doctors 24/7, but I don't. Honestly, those were like the two biggest things that I like had to talk about, because those are the two big things that were resting on my head, were that weird like sub-gay culture of like forcing, of basically using your power as I guess not, I feel like saying minority is weird, but like using that guilt trip to like convince straight people to keep something up with you, to explore their sexuality longer than they would like. Because I do honestly feel like a lot of times I witnessed those, or a lot of the times I heard stories from people, I kind of was just like, you know, it didn't sound like they were very into it, but like, to each their own. It's totally fucking toxic to think, you know, everyone gets their gay experience, everyone's a little gay, because you know what, there are some people that I've met and I'm like, nah girl, you know, like, nah, it's totally chill that they're not a little gay, it doesn't fucking matter. But that is the most like toxic mindset to put yourself in and be like, everyone's a little gay, and that's totally something that, oh my god, that's every like fucking joke that me and my friends make. Okay, that's so awful. We literally have to readdress the jokes. I guess it's different if it's a joke, but these aren't jokes. These are like serious people getting harassed. So I think this is just a crazy developments in two very controversial topics for both just really dramatic groups of people. I'm sorry, but like the LGBTQ plus people, like, come on, we're dramatic as hell. Fucking listen to me speak. Women, we got a lot to stress about, so we're kind of a little dramatic sometimes. It's just a lot. It's a lot that we got to deal with. Okay, Jesus Christ. Anyways, this is a little bit of a shorter podcast. Maggie gets home from a trip this weekend. Now that I've moved up here with her, so I'm gonna try and podcast with her. Hopefully we can get something set up so I can put out 2 podcasts this weekend. If not, you'll probably see a vlog. Keep your eye out for either the Vegas one or the 1975 one. And until then, see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.